Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be just like a life update and what's going on with Juliet. It's been a kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, just like not the best couple of weeks for us. So Juliet, the last time I filmed to tell you guys about Juliet was about, I guess, 6 weeks ago-ish. And we told you that we were gonna begin her steroid trial. So if you don't know, Juliet has Diamond Blackfan Anemia, which means that her body doesn't produce red blood cells on its own, that she needs an intervention to help her body produce, or to help her body have red blood cells in order to carry oxygen to her organs. So my husband has Diamond Blackfan Anemia as well, and he was diagnosed at 3 months. Juliet was diagnosed at birth, I guess, or like a week or two after birth. And the treatment when my husband was a baby was to try steroid therapy right away, and luckily for my husband it worked right away. So he's only ever had 2 blood transfusions in his life. They've kind of changed the protocol for that now. So they start babies off on blood transfusions through their first year and through their first set of vaccines. So through her 1-year vaccines, just because there can be some sort of complications with the steroids and with the vaccines. So they don't recommend starting steroids until a month after they've had their 1-year vaccines. So Juliet is 15 months now, and we were getting ready to start her steroid trial. We started her steroid trial, and we were going to be testing her every 2 weeks, and we'd have to go once a month to San Antonio, which is 2.5 hours away, because she does have a port which she gets her blood transfusions through, and we have to have that flushed once a month. So we were going, so she had her last transfusion, and then we were going to wait 2 weeks, and then she was going to get her blood taken here in town to get like a baseline for where her hemoglobin was. And then in another 2 weeks we were going to go to San Antonio and see how it changed. So I did film that, and if I can find some of those clips, I'll put them in. We had a really fun day. Her starting hemoglobin was, I want to say, I'm going to look it up right now just to make sure that I'm all correct with my numbers. Her beginning hemoglobin, which was 2 weeks after what we thought was going to be her last transfusion, was 11.7, and that's like a pretty good number. It's not like amazing for someone who doesn't have Diamond Blackfan Anemia, but it's very good for someone who does. So that was her starting hemoglobin. I guess she had had a transfusion 2 weeks before that, so that was her starting hemoglobin when she started the steroids. And that was done in town, in Laredo. And then we went to San Antonio 2 weeks later, and her hemoglobin was 9.7. So it had dropped 2 points in 2 weeks. At that point, her doctor was not like really concerned. She's like, oh gosh, going back to it, you know what? I remember just sitting in the room knowing that this was gonna be like a big deal, and knowing that I was like probably gonna get pretty emotional, which I didn't, which is weird. But her doctor came in all like happy and cheery, and I remember her asking me, so what do you think the hemoglobin is? Like, all happy. And I was like, I don't know, because I had known it was 11.7 the 2 weeks before. And then I was like just assuming it was going to go up because of the medication, and her doctor seemed pretty, happy. So I was like, I don't know, like 13. And her doctor was like, oh no, it's not going to like shoot up like that. So I was like, okay, what is it? So it was 9.7 2 weeks later, which I just told you guys. So that means that it had dropped 2 points. But at that point, her doctor didn't really seem too concerned, because she still was over the threshold for needing a transfusion. Her doctor likes to transfuse if she's under 9. So that seemed like okay, like, all right, well, we're not gonna have a transfusion today, which was really fun. And we got to like, spend the day in San Antonio. My car ended up breaking down that day in San Antonio, but we ended up getting it started. So that was crazy. But we went to this fun museum and we had a good day, and it was just like, okay, like this is not really the news that we were expecting, but it's still not like the ultimate of like she's not gonna respond to the medication. So we went home, continued with the medication. We were mixing this, she's taking the medication twice a day. We were mixing it with a little bit of applesauce. She was taking the prednisone, a liquid form, and a medication like a Zantac for her stomach. And then she was also taking only on the weekends, she was taking a what is it called? Antibiotic, because the prednisone at such a high dose can affect her immune system. So, we were like getting all that down. She was like just acting very, just very tough. I don't even know, like a fireball, honestly. Just, she's always been a little bit like tougher than Emma ever was. And I hate to compare my girls, but like, that's kind of all I know, was that Emma was just like a really chill child, and Juliet has always been just like loud and extra and crying and just like more needy and more emotional. So this was kind of like, the steroids were kind of adding to that, which wasn't the best, being that she was already kind of like a high-strung child. And like she'd just be hungry all the time, and just like if anybody had food around her, she like needed to have it right then and there, and just just like added like extraness to her already extra personality. So we continued with the steroids, and then we went back 2 weeks after we saw the doctor in San Antonio. We went back, I guess it was a Monday. I'm trying to like give you guys like the correct dates. I have it all like on Facebook, but okay. So we went back to get her blood work done on May 6th. Yeah, it was May 6th, because it's like one of my best friends here. It was her birthday, and we met up with her afterwards. So I should remember that day. It was May 6th, and we did her blood work that day. And I was just, like thinking, everything's gonna be fine. Our doctor really believed that the medication was gonna work, and everyone in our family kind of believed that it was gonna work. Like, we all just like had faith that it was gonna work. And I really didn't even have in my mind that it wasn't gonna work, but I knew there was a chance, of course, that it wouldn't work. But because it works for my husband, like I just like put all my eggs in the basket of it working. Like, I just believed it was gonna work. And so we got the call on that Wednesday, and I'm getting teary-eyed. I was actually filming a grocery haul, my big HEB grocery haul, which I'll link above. And you guys can see in that video that like I get a call at the end of the video. And it was her nurse calling to say that her hemoglobin had dropped again. I think I have the correct number, yeah, to 7.7. And now we were going to have to go for a transfusion, and that I didn't think I was gonna get emotional filming this. And that the medication, the steroids, were not working. So I did not think I was gonna cry to like relive this, but anyway, so we got the call that we were gonna have to come in that Monday because she was gonna need a transfusion because her hemoglobin was too low, and it was like the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever really heard. And like, in the scheme of life, it's not that big of a deal because we are able to still give her transfusions. Oh gosh, I need to stop. I don't like how my voice sounds right now. Let me take a drink. So in the grand scheme of life, like, it's not that big of a deal. The medication didn't work, but it was just not what we expected. And like, we had been waiting for this trial her entire life, for her to get through and you know, find out that she can just take an oral medication and that we weren't going to need to continue to go for transfusions, and that, you know, we were hoping she was going to be able to get her port taken out and that life would just go on as normal. Well, not as normal because this is our normal, but that it would go on as a normal child's life would, that she wouldn't need to go for a monthly transfusion. So that's kind of where we're at. We did go up on last Monday, and she did get her transfusion, and her doctor decided that she wants to wean her off the steroids, so we're in the midst of that right now. I think it's helping with her behavior, but I'm not sure. She's still very feisty. I think it suppressed her appetite a little bit coming down. It's like a 3-week trial. So, or sorry, a 3-week wean. So it's taking like 3 weeks very slowly, which I didn't know before. My mom had told me this, but you can't just like stop steroids because there's some sort of hormone that your body stops making once you start taking steroids, that your body needs to like slowly start making again once you're back on. So luckily I'm in a group on Facebook with 2 other moms with babies that literally were going through this at the exact same time as me, even though this is such a rare disease. And one of them, her daughter did pass the trial, so the steroids are working for her, and I'm so happy for her that it's working, and even more happy for her that it's working because the 2 other moms that I've talked to, it's not in their family at all. So they don't really, and I don't know if they're in the medical field or anything, but like, this is a totally new thing for them. Luckily for us, Pat has it, so like my in-laws have been through it, and I mean, not kind of the same process, but like they know a lot about it. Because Pat had it, but these other two moms, like, it's like totally a new thing. So I'm just so excited and happy that it did work out for one. Another mom with another little girl, they both have girls, and she also failed her trial too. So it's nice to know that I'm not like totally alone in this. And if you're watching this and you're going through it, that you're not alone, because, you know, we had a failed trial too. So I guess like the next thing is that we would be able to try again in a year, and pray that she could possibly go into spontaneous remission, which means that her body would just all of a sudden start making red blood cells. And so of course my camera battery died in the middle of that. It's a few hours later. I only have one battery, so I had to go charge that, and now I put the girls back down to go to sleep. And anyway, so I am going through this with another mom who has another little girl, and I'm just like so thankful that I found this community on Facebook of other families who have been through it, whose children have failed their steroid trials, who people who are in their 40s and 50s who are transfusion dependent and live a normal life. This is definitely not a life that we would ever choose for our child, but we are so grateful that this is not a fatal disease. This is something that she could live with. You know, there is always another option of doing a bone marrow transplant, but it's not really something that is on my heart or mind right now. It's just, I think just like hearing this news is just kind of enough for me right now to deal with, that like seeking that option is not really in the cards, especially for Juliet at this age, for me. So yeah, so that's kind of like what's going on with Juliet. Hopefully we'll be weaned off the steroids in about a week and a half. We're down to just 1 dose a day, which is really nice. And actually another mom on the group told me about this Munchkin medicator thing that I absolutely love. So if your kids are having to take medicine or whatever, like on a daily basis, and they don't like the syringes, there's this thing called the Munchkin medicator, and you can buy it on Amazon. I'll link it below. Excuse me. And you put the medicine in it, and then, excuse me, and then it's like a pacifier, and you can, like, and Juliet just sucks it out. And luckily with the medications that she's taking, we're able to mix it with other foods. So this other mom was telling me to put like a little bit of maple syrup in there, and it works like a charm. Like, she just sucks that thing down. We were using applesauce, and I was like spoon feeding it to her, and it was just like, it was just not as easy. So this Munchkin medicator thing is awesome. I guess the other thing that I wanted to bring up is just how hard it is to be so far away, A, from our hospital, and B, just from our family. So we are in Texas, and our family is in Philadelphia. And we've been here for about 10, almost, my husband's been here almost, Pat's been here almost 10 years because of his job. And he does have a really great job with really good medical benefits, thank God, because we're going through all of this right now. But it's just like, we were ready to go home once Emma was born. We lived here for 3.5 years. Wait, she was born in 2015. Yeah, so almost 3.5 years. I lived here, married, without kids. And then once we had Emma, I was like, yeah, you know, we should start heading home, trying to like find a way for my husband to find a job at home. And now with Juliet being sick and needing to go to the hospital once a month, it's getting to be a lot. So that's something that's like weighing really heavy on our hearts. And being at home would mean that she would be able to go to a really good hospital that my husband went to when he was a baby, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. It's called CHOP. And she'd be able to get treatment there, and we wouldn't have to drive 2.5 hours, because right now we're driving 2.5 hours to go to the hospital once a month, which we don't have a children's hematologist here, and we don't have an outpatient clinic here. So I guess she could technically get a transfusion here in Laredo, but it would have to be inpatient, and we don't even have a pediatric hematologist in our town. So my husband is like in the process of a couple jobs that hopefully will bring us to ideally home. Second ideally would be East Coast, and then like third would just be like a bigger city. So that's something. But luckily we are going to be going home in June for a couple weeks, so that'll be really good. Juliet's going to get a transfusion right before we leave, so it'll be perfect timing, and just spend some time with our family. So yeah, I mean, I hope that sooner or later we have some sort of update about moving at some point, but right now we don't have anything, you know, on the horizon. We're just hoping and praying. So if you could pray for us, that would be really good, and just pray for Juliet that everything goes well. The other thing I forgot to mention is that with the chronic transfusions, there could be an issue with having an iron overload. So that's not something that we've experienced yet, which is very good. But probably, you know, by the summer, our doctor was thinking we might have to do something for that. So I don't know exactly what the treatment will be, but I know that it's something that may be on the horizon, you know, by the summer or fall. So I don't know much about that, but we'll keep you guys updated with that. But yeah, that's pretty much, you know, the basis of what I wanted to just talk about, Juliet's health, and then hopefully us being able to get closer to home. Oh my gosh, my hair. I need to get a haircut too while we're at it. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about Juliet's health or anything that I talked about, or if you are a Diamond Blackfan family, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a comment and let me know that you know, what's going on with your family, or if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer what I can. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope the next video is a little bit more happy and not so emotional. I'm like working on a weight loss journey right now, so yeah, it's been a little bit hard with all these emotions, but I'm still gonna keep doing that. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the